Young American tennis stars are dominating the U.S. Open. 20-year-old Ben Shelton could become the first American man to make it to the finals since 2009. On the women's side, 19-year-old Coco Gauff also advanced to the semis for the first time. She's the only American teenager to do so since Serena Williams in 2001. A third American, 28-year-old Madison Keys, plays her quarterfinal match later today. So our Nancy Chen has been following the action on the tennis courts with these young players. So she's joining us now in Studio 57. I like, to me, this look is very Tennessee.
Okay.
It's very U.S. Open.
I'm glad. I want to be on theme, on match.
Yes. So let us talk about the men's game. Very exciting. A resurgence of American tennis players. This is great.
It is, especially because the U.S. has not typically dominated at the U.S. Open on the men's side for quite some time now. There's been a bit of a drought. We're talking about 18 years or plus. The last American man who won the tournament straight out was Andy Roddick, and that was back in 2003. So it has been a while.
It's been a minute, yeah.
This year, though, 3 American men, they were in the quarterfinals for the first time in 18 years, which is what made last night's match between Frances Tiafoe and Ben Shelton so exciting.
Yeah.
This was something that kept a lot of people up very late. It went past midnight here on the East Coast, so if people are tired today, it's because they were watching a heck of a match.
Yeah.
Shelton is the youngest American male to reach the semifinals in 30 years. As you mentioned, just 20 years old. So this could really be the start of a possible new era for American men at the U.S. Open.
And so what are sort of critics and analysts saying about Shelton's chances, though?
That's going to be like the realistically speaking, he's going to be playing on Friday against Novak Djokovic, arguably one of the greatest names of all time in tennis, who has won 23 Grand Slams, ranked number 2 in the world. Ben Shelton was unseeded, had not won back-to-back matches since May. Still, anything could happen. There's a certain sense of magic and luck when it comes to tennis. And there's also a certain sense of momentum that Shelton has after defeating Frances Tiafoe, which was considered an upset because Tiafoe was expected to win that match. So you never know. You never know.
I hear anything that can happen is kind of like a semi-theme for the U.S. Open. Like you just, like you said, you never know.
Makes it exciting.
Let's talk about Coco Gauff. She, a little bit of rest seems to have done her good.
And she's not going to get much of it before her next match, but there is talk that this could be Coco Gauff's year. She is 19 years old. She is the first American team to reach the semifinals since Serena Williams back in 2001. So we're talking lots of droughts, lots of records being broken this year. Gauff is currently ranked number 6 in the world and has had a tremendous run so far. A big part of this is also mental, and she has managed to stay focused despite everything that's going on around her. And she says even now she's approaching these final matches of the tournament like she's still in the first 2 matches or the first couple of matches in the opening round. So she has this really great mental strategy and is drowning out the noise, which is not always easy at the U.S. Open.
Yes. Listen, September is usually a great time to play tennis, but oh my gosh, Mother Nature's, it's so hot outside. I'm watching all sort of the correspondents doing their hits, and I can see everyone trying to pull their hair back and get the sweat off their face. I can't imagine what it's like for these tennis players working.
No, and think about this. They are standing in that hot sun for hours, and these matches can go on for a long time. There's no shade, the heat, the humidity. I mean, it really does. The effect on these players and fans cannot be overstated here because they're out there for so long. It was so bad yesterday, in fact, that during the match with Coco Gauff, the organizers of the U.S. Open said that they're changing the policy moving forward, and they were going to be partially closing the roof of the stadium to provide at least a little bit of shade. So I think there's this sense of, okay, how do we bear with it? Because the high yesterday in New York was 90 degrees. And so you factor in all of that, standing out there, it does influence these athletes who are playing for everything they have.
Completely. So we talked about the people in the stands. It's no picnic for them either, but it doesn't seem to be stopping them from showing up. I feel like this year more than any other year, I've heard so many people talk about going to the U.S. Open.
Yeah, and they are showing out in droves. In fact, let me get this right. The U.S. Open set a Labor Day weekend attendance record this year, more than 200,000 fans going out there. That is the first time it has topped that mark because this is a tournament to be watching out there. First 6 games of the main draw, 6 highest attended days in U.S. Open history.
Very good. Well, it's great. Well, people came to watch the Americans perform, and they are. Nancy, thank you.
Thank you.